Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in for today's live coaching call. This was such a good one. This is finally the year of the horse, which means we are getting rid of the snake and letting go of the things that have held us back. What does that mean? It means stories that you've got to let go of, beliefs that you need to let go of, and all of the old so you can truly move forward in this new lunar year. So we're going to talk about that, but we had some incredible questions from the community. What do you do when somebody betrays you? How do you stay in your heart when your body is going through survival? How can you have faith when you need money right now? How do you tune in with your heart in the middle of a breakup? This plus so much more. This is a live coaching call that you're going to see recorded, but I'm telling you, stick around because there is wisdom, there is knowledge, there is so much that I know. If you apply it, if you embody it, if you practice it, it can absolutely change your life. We'll go ahead and get started. So the first thing, if you are able to, I just want to ask you to please just close your eyes for a moment if you're in a place that is safe to do that. And if we can just take a collective deep breath in, breathing in all of the love that is available to us right here, right now. And anything that no longer serves us, we exhale that out, letting go of everything. And I just want to set an intention for today that while we're here in this time, in this space, that we can be present. I ask for the Creator to be with us. I ask for love to surround us, for information to land, for our lives to change in some way, that we take a moment to be still, to learn, to grow, to love, to shine, and that be reflected back to us, to leave no doubt in our minds that this is real, that our thoughts matter, that we are creators, that we are one with the Creator, and that we truly can change our life for the greatest good and the greatest experience that we can ever imagine. And so I welcome you back, and it is my intention to share with you my greatest understanding of the truth, which is always growing, always stretching, always evolving. And today is really special. I'll be honest, I am not deep into the Chinese lunar year, and I don't know exactly what it means that it is a fire horse, but I read enough to know that this could be powerful. And I know that every single day that we choose to show up for ourselves, and we choose to take action, and we choose to believe that that is power alone. And I look at it a lot like the day that we get to wake up and be alive, that is a gift. And my mentor, some of you, probably a lot of you know, is Dr. Joe Dispenza, and he always says, one day, one lifetime. And I love that so much because although this is a powerful, powerful, powerful day of the year and new beginnings, and we're getting out of the shedding, which I don't know about you guys, but I definitely felt a lot over the last year, and I guess years for me, that there was a lot of this letting go. But I think it's really important to understand that, okay, I'll be super honest with you guys. I love stories. So I did this laser, which I haven't done lasers before, like this extent. And I did this laser two weeks ago, and it was super intense. And what I realized is there was all of this dead skin and all of these things, but I had to wash it off every day. I had to actually get rid of the stuff that wanted to come off and come out. And so there's a lot of talk about this is the year of the snake, and we're stepping into the new. But I want to remind you, stepping into the new means that we have to actually let go of the old. We actually have to let go of the things that have shed. And so what does that mean? What does that look like in practical terms? And for me, I think about it a lot like this. What are the stories that I have to let go of now? What are the thoughts that I keep telling myself that I literally cannot take with me because my life is not going to change if I keep telling the same story? And so as we go into this new year of the fire horse, this is all about intuition, and this is about momentum, and this is about moving, and this is about going, and this is about really, 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 oh, I love this. Mary says, last night I wrote letters to people who I needed to let go, and then I burnt them. Mary, I love that. Thank you for sharing that. If you guys have not taken time to let go of this, of people, of thoughts, of your own emotions, right? I love how we wake up and we're like, it's the fire horse new year, Tuesday, whatever you want to call it, 2026. And then we keep thinking the same, and we keep getting resentful towards the people that bother us, and we get triggered. And it's like, well, what actually changed? Because as great as these things are, and I do believe in energy, and I do believe that there are things that can help us and we can ride waves, if you still think the same, if you still feel the same, if you still hold that resentment towards other people, trust me, I did it for years, right? I carried a story with me that I was sick even though I wanted to be well. I carried a story with me that I was successful even though deep down I didn't feel like that. And nothing changes in life until we actually change. And so I want to just go over some of those things. And I love that Mary says too, one of the letters was to my old self, the self I wanted to leave behind. Yes, because that's what it's about. Yes, it's about the other people and letting go of this and this, but they're reflections of us. They are reflections of us. I went to dinner last week and I was just going through this moment with my boyfriend. And we have such a good relationship and we don't fight a lot, but this was not one of those days. And we go to dinner and it's not even busy, guys. And they're like, I'm so sorry, we don't have any tables. And I'm looking around like, okay, well, we'll just sit in the bar. And then I go to order this meal that I have ordered, I'm not kidding you guys, 50 times. I have ordered the same dish, right? Really got to get outside of my comfort zone. But I love it when I go here. And so I go to order it and they're like, I'm so sorry. We're actually sold out of that. And I'm like, okay. So I order a second, my backup menu. And they couldn't give me that. And then the server comes back to me and they have sushi and he goes, ma'am, I'm really sorry. The only roll we have available right now is the bitchin' roll. And my boyfriend looks at me and he's like, cause you be bitchin'. And I'm like, oh my God. And the guy is saying sorry to me. And I'm like, it's not you, it's me. Like I couldn't get mad at him because I understand that much like a thermometer, this is a great way to think about it. Much like you have a thermometer, and you can set that to different things. If it's below 32 in the States, it snows, and that's Fahrenheit, right? It snows. So you know when you're at that thermometer, you're gonna expect that there's a possibility that snow could be there. And when that thermometer raises, then when you get into the 70s and 80s, it's warm and it's sunny. And I want you to think about your vibration the same way. We are living in a vibrational reality. What does that even mean? I'm trying to simplify it. It means that how you feel, your frequency, right? Frequency. Think about it. What I frequently see around me, that's how you can gauge it. When you're in a certain vibration, it's not always that like you caused that terrible thing. It's that you put yourself in a vibration where that was on the menu. Does that make sense? So I was in such a vibration of this low vibration. I was arguing and I was angry. So the things on my menu were not things that I usually enjoy when I'm in this high frequency. I could literally only order the bitchin' roll, as if God, source, the creator was like, ha, check yourself. And I couldn't even get mad. I just had to say, okay, you know what? I have to excuse myself. I got to go out to the beach and I have to recenter myself. And so why am I sharing this? Because as we go into every day, I'm calling it, the year of the horse because this is a day and people are celebrating this and this is a thing, but this is an everyday thing to check with yourself. Where am I at, right? What am I holding on to? What am I getting angry about? And I love that Mary shared how she took the time to do these letters to other people and to herself. But guys, this is something we should be checking all of the time. Who, what is stealing my joy? What is robbing me from the opportunities that I wish to experience? Because if I set my meter to joy, if I set my meter to possibilities, if I set my meter intentionally to miracles, then I'm going to walk through the day knowing, expecting, and experiencing them. And this is so, so, so important to understand. I'm just going to mute that really quick. So I want us to really think about that. And I'm going to talk a little bit about this horse because I like the idea of really moving, right? Of really moving this year. And not because somebody told you, not because they're like, it's the lunar year and it's the fire horse, but because something inside of you can't be still anymore. Something inside of you is saying, now Now I am ready. Now I'm going. Now I'm trusting my intuition. Now I'm moving. Not because I know exactly what I'm doing, not because it's perfect, not because any of the things that society has taught us and made us believe is the reason we move, but because your soul is ready. And as I was sharing at the beginning of this call, if ever there was a time for you to listen to your heart and to move and to go and to shine and to share and to live the most amazing life you can live, now is the time. Not just because the world is a little chaotic, not just because all of the things, but because you're alive right now. Because you are alive right now. And at any moment, we don't know what life is going to predict us. I'm pretty sure all of you remember 2020. I remember when that hit, I was like, God, I wish I went out more. Wish I would have went to dinner more. Wish I would have done this more, right? And so many times in life, we wait for things to be robbed from us. We wait for things to be taken away. I am so guilty of this. I waited for my body to almost die that I would go travel, right? I waited to get out of a terrible relationship because it was so bad. And my message is to you is stop waiting. Now is the time. And now there's community. Look around. We got 25 people on this call already, right? Now is that there are people that are with you that are choosing to change. There are people that are believing in possibility. There are people that are praying and will support you in this. And I'm one of those. And I want you to know that. So please, I want you to think about it like every day. It's not just about the whole. I don't want you to think of like, okay, this whole year. Yes, it is so good to have a big picture vision, but how can I win today? How can I set myself up best for today, right? I'm going to use horses as the analogy for this, but you think about it. Horses run because it's innate to them. And despite our programming and despite our conditioning, we are meant to evolve. We are meant to grow, right? We are meant to imagine and be curious and play, right? Children are the perfect example of our natural default state. They are curious. They are in the present moment. A lot of them are getting like computers too soon. That's just me. But when you don't have that, they are looking at the world. They're in awe. They're in wonder. They're taking things in. They're playing. They're imagining. And so I really want all of us to understand that we don't have to wait for anything to understand that we're creators. We don't have to wait for something to happen outside. We don't even have to wait for the Lunar New Year or the solar eclipse or the new moon or the Aries and this and all the things that are telling us, because every single day, we have the choice to wake up and realize that I am a creator. We have the choice to wake up and realize that today I choose joy. We have the choice to look at and say, what beliefs are not serving me, right? I need this to happen. I need that to happen. I want you to know that we start before we're ready. I want you to know that we move, that we go. And I want to go over some of those things that have really helped me. And so again, I want you to take a moment if you haven't done this. I know Mary shared, but I want you to ask yourself some of these questions like, okay, what has this last year taught me? The year of the snake, the shedding, and what do I have to let go of? What did I wake up today and I still think about like, or this person at work, or this, or that, or that? And are you going to consciously make a decision to let it go, right? To say, I'm done with this and I'm starting to choose new beliefs, right? I'm the creator of my life. I'm beginning to create my life again right now. Today is the day that matters, right? I'm going to consciously put myself in joy. I don't have to know the whole plan, right? I believe that as I move, God, the creator, moves with me. I want you to let go of the past stories, right? You cannot take those with you. And I had a call we got to let go of our fear, yes, and welcome discomfort. Yeah, but why do we even have to say discomfort, right? Why can't we just say, and I welcome comfort, right? Because everything that we say is a frequency. It is creating reality. It is a vibration. So Brent, yes, love what you're going, because at times there may be discomfort. But I don't want to welcome that. I can choose anything to welcome. I welcome miracles. I welcome joy. I welcome it being fun, right? I want to my discomfort is just not knowing, or it is even the word discomfort, we can reframe that as this amazing, like you said earlier, Brent, growth, right? I welcome this growth. I welcome this excitement. I welcome God wanting to show me a new part of me that I don't even know yet. Oh my God, this is exciting, right? And I don't know about you guys, but that feels a lot better than discomfort. And I'm not picking on you, Brent, because
Hello, Caitlin.
Yes. Hi, Agni. Did you have a question?
Yes, I have. Oh my God. Okay, let's see. How to let go of someone that I care deeply. How to do it?
Are you saying if there's something you care deeply about, or?
Yes.
Okay, well.
Okay, I want to say, my cat died in summer, and I cannot let go of this, and I cry almost every single day. And I was asking God, why you don't heal him, my cat, because I care about animals, and he was my best friend. So it's very sad for me.
Well, thank you for sharing that. And I'm really sorry to hear that. And I can hear the pain in you. And I get that. I do get that. Your cat is still with you. Nothing truly ever dies. And I really believe in, and my brother has shown me this in many ways, right? I can really resonate with you, because when my brother passed, I was like, you got, like, that was it, right? And I lost my dog right before that, and I had a whole time of a lot of loss. And there's a part of just having to learn to trust the Creator, having to learn to trust God, and knowing that, actually, there's a really good episode on Telepathy Tapes, Season 2, Episode 5. Love how I know that by heart, all about animals and how they're still, like, our ability to connect with them, and also understanding that, guys, fundamentally, we're energy, right? This was one of the biggest lessons for me. I really thought I was my body. I really thought this was me. Like, this is it. I got it. But we're so much more. And energy truly cannot be destroyed. And even just speaking, knowing that your cat is still with you, and I get it's not the same. I get it. I would love to hug my brother. I would love, love, love to just hang out with him and be with him, or my dog, or anything that I've lost in the past, but we haven't truly lost them. They've changed form. And you have to, at some point, allow yourself to let that have a sense of peace, knowing that, we're all still connected. The energy is still there. Your cat is still with you. But you have to get yourself out of that sadness, not because you don't love your cat, not because it isn't hard, but because you're still keeping your heart closed to other things that the Creator wants to bring you. I think probably every single person on this call has lost something that they love, a family member, a job, a pet. And I don't in any way want to minimize this, but part of being alive is feeling. It's feeling all of it, right? It's feeling joy. It's feeling sadness, right? And I think a lot, I feel so much sadness about things that I've lost, because I have the privilege to love and to really know what love is, right? And life is duality, and we don't have one without the other. And it's that contrast that gives us perspective. It's that contrast that allows us to say, okay, so I think, and any of the things that have helped me is, Agni, you have to find love in other things again. You have to fall back in love with life, right? You have to go for a walk, or see another pet, or maybe adopt something else, and understand that there's this cycle of life, right? Even in nature, it's 3 steps forwards, 2 steps back. It's the Fibonacci. Nothing lasts. I have beautiful flowers up there, and now they're gone. And I'm like, I love those, but everything comes to an end, and then it reblossoms. And if we get stuck in that, not understanding the cycle of life, then that takes us down. And this is what I want you to understand is, so many times in my life, I've been sad about something, and God was trying to bring me something that would bring me joy, but I couldn't see it because I was in the depths of my sorrow. I wasn't even open to it. I couldn't even get it because I was here. And you can't see anything when you're here. And when you're in that vibration, remember, just like that, I'm not saying that you don't feel. I'm not saying that it isn't painful. I'm not saying, but you have to understand and try to reframe it of, we surround you in prayer and believe God will show you amazing things through this. Beautiful, Michael. Thank you. Absolutely. There are always things that we learn, even if it's what a beautiful heart you have that you can feel so much. What a gift that you've been given to have such love and the opposite of that, of this sadness. But being able to look at it and still continuously praying and asking God for comfort and asking for that peace, and then intentionally putting yourself in the place that you can feel it. Otherwise, we can get trapped, we can get stuck, right? And I don't in any way want to sound insensitive, but I can tell you from experience, I have learned that in order for me to get through something, yes, you feel it, but then I have to keep moving. I have to keep finding the light. I have to keep finding the good. I have to keep finding the love that exists in this moment. And that's what we have to understand. As people die, people are born. As pets leave, new pets come. And this is the cycle of life. When we can understand this and intellectually say, okay, I wish this was different. I wish God could have healed your cat. I wish God could have healed my brother. I wish these things could have happened. We still cannot allow it to rob us of life that is now, to rob us of the blessings that are coming now. Some of the hardest things that I've gone through, and I'm sure many people can agree to this, on the other side of this, we got perspective. We got the opportunity to help someone else. There was more love waiting. There was something else there that was waiting for us. But if we ruminate and we get stuck in it, then we don't see that, or it leads to disease, or it leads to these things that we never get through. So continuously praying and asking, and then at some point we have to understand and stay conscious that I'm going to choose joy now. And even though I'm sad about this, I'm going to go do something else that brings me joy. You know, I'm going to go take an art class. I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to buy a little mini trampoline, and every time I'm missing my cat, I'm going to play a happy song and I'm going to bounce on my soul little trampoline. But I'm going to remind myself that I can get myself out of this emotion. And that's what we have to practice, because if you stay stuck in emotion long enough, it leads to more. And I'm just speaking from experience of it leads to missing things, illness, all of it. Our body is not meant to stay in that. And we have to have this awareness that this is how life goes. Right? And I don't mean in any way to minimize this, but we can't stay in it. And continuously prayer and finding things to bring you joy now. There's so much joy you've never experienced, all of us. There's so much excitement we've never tapped into. There's so many miracles we're unaware of in this moment. And often it's seeking for those things from a place of sadness or curiosity or anger that we find them. And that's the contrast in all of this, right? You go through a hard time, it leads you to find something that opens your mind, opens your heart, opens your world to more. And it's that contrast that helps us evolve. So I hope that helps. I really, really hope that helps. And know that our thoughts and our prayers are with you. And I really trust that there is something amazing waiting for you, something to heal your heart even more. And I trust that you'll stay open to it, because that's the beauty in all of this, is staying open for it. So thank you for sharing that as well, and being vulnerable on all that. Lisa, did you have something?
Yes, I just wanted to ask if, so I can just ask you a question, Caitlin?
Sure, of course.
Okay. So basically, I'm like, I had my awakening 4 years ago. And since then, I'm like, really get so many crazy synchronicities that like literally brought myself from my mind into my heart. And like, I could not and not follow it. So I had to follow it. I was asking myself questions why that happened, like the most crazy things, like literally the matrix has been bended. It was really crazy. And I was asking 4 years long question why that happened, what is the message, what should I bring through? And it all started making sense, and I received the messages after 4 years of really searching for it. And now I'm at the point that like I'm trusting my heart. My heart is always guiding me everywhere. But now I'm in a situation where I'm in Dubai. Dubai opened up my heart, and I know what I have to bring through. Actually, the childlike energy. That's what I'm here to remind people again in a very, very cute way. And it was literally like I made a visual, like a picture of a little being that I had, and it has been manifested in front of my eyes and had lead me on a journey. It is absolutely incredible. But I trusted people here in Dubai and I gave them money. And now I'm in this position that I'm running out of money. I have my idea of what I'm bringing forward, but it's like I need to find a production, I need to find all of these things to make it actually come true. And I'm right now in this position of like, okay, I know that this is my gift, but I just basically don't know what to do right now, how I can express or how I can like be not in that survival state anymore. Because right now, yes, I'm in that situation where I'm like basically waiting for that answer if it's a very complicated situation, if I get that money back, or if he betrayed me, or if it's just constantly like extending it. I'm not sure. But I know that there's a purpose for me, and that the reason why I'm here is because I know I have to bring that forward, because I know people have to remind back again that being that childlike self is the natural state, what you say. Mm-hmm. And following the heart is the only way to go. Mm-hmm. Even it's scary. It can be very scary. And now I'm like in Dubai and being like in this situation, okay, what I have to do now, how can I make money? And I know that I can't force myself to put me in situations that bring me even more down. So I'm like, what would you do in my situation? Because I know it is all, I see the synchronicities, I see the signs, I received all the messages, it makes all sense. But now I'm stuck. I'm just stuck, and I don't know if it's a childish dream.
No, it's definitely not a childish dream. And you're not stuck. And you're not stuck. And the first thing you can do is change your language. Because every time we say something, it creates a mental picture for our subconscious mind. And so right now, your mind is thinking, I'm stuck. Right now, your mind is thinking, the only way for this to happen is if I can get a production crew. And right now, your mind is also thinking in this terms of, is this betrayal? And these are all things that are not going to help you progress forward. I'm not saying that they don't look like your reality, but the reality can change at any single moment, at any single moment. At any single moment, your life can change. And I cannot stress this enough because it is the truth. But it will not change, you're right, until you have changed, right? Because as within, so without. And if, for me, listen, I'm going to just share for me there are so many times in my life where I have really just defaulted to my childlike and to share and to give in this innocence. And it's gone completely different. But remember this, wherever our attention is, that's where our energy goes, and we're giving it life. And there's a verse in the Bible that I really love, and it says, Satan, get behind me. What does that mean? To me, it means this: any situation that I no longer wish to experience, get behind me. I am not giving you this attention. I don't care if you are sick. I don't care if it's a betrayal. I don't care what it is. I am done. Right? It is no longer in my reality, not from a place of, oh, I'm just being naive and it'll all work out. No, from a place of understanding that the living God is living within me and I do not choose this. I do not choose this. No. And not from, again, it has to be this level of certainty and this knowingness. And I can give you the best example for me is when I was sick, right? And I was sick, and maybe a lot of you know this, but I was super sick, and I had nothing, and I was dating this guy, and I just found out I had a brain tumor, and I walk in on him with 2 girls, and I was just like, every betrayal inside of me while I'm dying. And I remember getting in my car, and I'm like, I'm done. Like, I'm done. I'm not even reacting to this world. I'm just done living in this reality. And I didn't even know what I was doing, but all of us know what we're doing because it is innate inside of all of us. All of us are that child that she's talking about. All of us are pure love. It is within all of us. And the only thing that is blocking it or keeping you stuck are all of these illusions and programs. But at any moment, you can decide you don't want to play that game anymore. And guess what? You don't have to. Because it is you that is the power. And God helps those that help themselves. When you move, the Creator moves with you. When you say, I'm done, I'm done. I'm done. But being done also means letting that go. Okay, maybe somebody betrayed you. Maybe you can imagine them differently. But why not spend your energy somewhere else? And I have always found when I fall back in love with life, when I listen to my heart, when I keep moving in that direction, and I'm not saying you always know, right? I started just moving in this direction, and I didn't know. I didn't know if my body was going to heal. I had no idea. I had no doctor telling me that this was a possibility. I had no idea how I would ever move back or how I would have money or how I would stay alive. But I had faith. And I moved in that direction. And that's what it is about. It is about listening to your heart and knowing that God is speaking to you. And I don't care if this guy betrayed me. And I don't care if it looks like I don't have any money. And I don't care about this, because what is bigger than all of those? God, the Creator. And it is in you. And it is part of you. And it is with you. But it moves with you. And so you have to move and say, I'm not giving this my attention anymore. Right? It's just like scheduling. Just like you have a calendar and you have hours. Where are you going to spend it? There is nothing that is going to serve you if spending, is this guy going to pay? Maybe he pays me back. Maybe he doesn't. Whatever. God will provide. But you have to have an unshakable belief. And what works for me is really looking at your life, and all of us doing this. There are so many times in life when we didn't know how we were going to get out of something, whatever it was. Right? It might have been money. It might have been a relationship. It might have been betrayal. It might have been, but you, some way, somehow, God came through. Some way, somehow, the money was there. Some way, somehow, you are alive. Your body got healthy. This happened. You met a new friend. You fell back in love. Right? It is not that we don't experience these things in life. It is that we don't allow them to take our light. It is that we don't allow them to harden our heart. It is saying, of course you care. Of course this is a challenge. Of course this is hard. But it cannot consume you, because nothing good will come from that place. And there were so many times in my life where I would just say that scripture, say and get behind me. Nope. You do not get my light. You do not get my attention. I am moving in this direction. And that is what faith is. That is what faith is. It is knowing, and it is staying open. It is keeping your heart open. It is staying conscious and knowing the law of resonance. What you resonate, you will attract. So you start moving and you say, you know what? What if there is another way I can do this without a production? You know how good the iPhone is right now? What if I just do this, right? What if I think of it differently? What if, God, you show me another way? What if I just try this? What if I'm feeling low and I get myself in joy? How can I do that? And all of these things, and this is why I said at the beginning of this call, what is taking your attention? What is stealing your light? It will keep doing it unless you make a conscious decision and say, enough. It happened. I love, oh my God, I'm blanking on his name, but he has this really great quote, and I love him. I don't know if he's my friend, but he says, it happened, and it can't happen any other way because it didn't. And it is. And that's okay, because it can change. Life can change like this. But what is the factor? You. It is you believing that your life can change. It is you forgiving. Forgive the guy. Why not? Why is he acting like that? Darkness is forgetting that they are light. It's forgetting that they are loved. What does that person need? They need love. I pray that that person finds the light and can reroute himself and do the right thing. But I'm not going to allow that to rob my joy, to take my light. And I know you might be like, but you don't understand, because I have bills and I have this, and I get it. But this is active faith and belief in your ability to create and moving, right? And moving in this direction and knowing that when I move, God moves with me. When you were saying this, like the matrix is bending. It does bend to our will. But if you do not hold that, right? If it's like, okay, I'm going this way and then I'm going to go back to this and it's going to consume my energy and my time and my thought or this relation, whatever it is, it still has a hold on you. And so it has to get to this point of whatever works for you. Maybe using Mary's example, writing a letter. Hey, what you did was really wrong. It really hurt me, but I can't take this with me, so I'm going to make peace with it. God, please make this right in this way or another way, right? And I believe it, that money could come to you in a bajillion different ways that we are not even aware of. But if you are in this energy of, like you said, survival, you can't create from fear. You can't create from that place. I mean, you can create from anger in the sense of like, I'm done with this. But you have to get back into your heart. And you do have to know that, yes, that childlike, that wonder, that heart.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, exactly. And so here's one of my biggest things I've learned. You are being called to create in this way. And yet before you do, you are being tested if you can do it yourself. How can you tell somebody else to go do this? You can tell them by being the living example. I have chills. By being the living example, by being the embodiment of it. Document it. Here's where I'm at. This is what happened to me, right? You don't have to go, somebody hurt me. They betrayed me. I'm feeling like this. But I know that I must get in joy, and I'm going to document it because that will help somebody one day. You'll show them. You won't just tell them, go be a child. You can show them firsthand how life dealt you a card. It gave you a calling, and then it said, but would you do what you will tell others? And now you have the opportunity to say, yes, I would, and I'm doing it. And I have no doubt in my body that you will be taken care of. Because when we show up in love, in purity, for the greatest gift, giving our gifts to the world, the Creator always matches our efforts. And you cannot talk me out of that. I have seen it so many times. What happened, happened. It is what it is. But what you are now being called to give to others, you are first being called to embody.
That's one of my, I would say, biggest challenges, to show up really in Instagram and just start like telling my truth of what I feel or what I experience, because I'm like thinking like, okay, yeah, they are very, very special to me design, but I know I have the belief that everything is already written.
Yes, I believe that too, and I believe that we can reroute ourselves on that path. Like this is why your soul came to this planet, and this is this divine plan for you. And yet, if we go unconscious, and yet if we let the outside world, and I mean, there are other forces at work, let's be real, that are trying to get us to forget this. And so I would say this, in sharing your truth and your story, there's a fine line, and I had to learn this. I could not share things that I was still triggered by, right? And I love that Joe Dispenza says this. He says that not having the emotional charge is what we call wisdom. So you must first embody this, right? You're in this place where you're wobbling, right? And that's okay. We've all been there many times. I'm going to forgive this guy. Screw this guy. I'm going to be okay. But am I going to be okay? Right? That's the human mind. And so you have to embody this to the level. And then from that place, on the other side, you can then share saying, I've been through this, right? And maybe you have details or maybe you don't. There are plenty of people that are hurting right now. There are plenty of people that are going through a betrayal right now. There are plenty of people that are in a sad spot right now. It is what it is. But hey, if you're feeling hurt today that somebody let you down, here's how you can overcome that. Let's refocus on your life. Let's remember what the Creator is calling you to do. Let's fall back in love with life today. It's important not to let it take your energy. And maybe you want to share it in real time. Amazing. I'm feeling this pain, but here's what I'm going to go do instead, and I'm going to encourage you to do the same. And now you're sharing in real time from an experience that is very real to you, right? Jesus was a phenomenal teacher because he walked with the people, right? Mm-hmm. Some of the best teachers are people because they have overcome it, right? That's why I have no doubt looking at somebody and saying, you can heal, you can change your life. That's only because I've overcome that. Otherwise, I'm just quoting from a textbook, right? And so there's this power of embodiment. And that's why when these things happen in our life, we can look at them like, why? I was following and I'm out of the matrix and I'm doing this because it's the next level. To know is not enough. You must know it by heart. You must embody it in your body. Who are you going to be when nobody's looking? How are you going to forgive when nobody's watching or when the hardest things are going on? I have been tested this so many times, and I hate to call it a test, but it is something that shows up in our reality that we get to choose in this moment, in this pain, with this hurt, who am I going to be? And as long as you choose love, as long as you choose light, it always works out. And it might not look like it at first, but it always, love prevails. Love is the greatest gift. The light always wins, right? And even too, this man is learning from this situation as well. And pray for him, right? Whenever I'm angry, I just go into prayer, right? And again, I'm not trying to be too biblical, but I just believe that the Bible has amazing lessons. Forgive them, Father, they know not what they've done. Forgive them. I'll forgive you. You have hurt me, but I'm not going to let that take me down. A rising tide lifts all ships. You cannot sink with the other people. You cannot help them from there. You will not grow from there. You cannot lead from there. So if you are being called to lead and to show and to give these gifts into a child, you must first overcome them yourself. And so we get these opportunities, right, that look like terrible things, that look like a betrayal or this, but it is the next level of initiation. It is learning how to become a master. It is learning how to hold our intention and our consciousness. It is learning how to choose love and not react, right? And these are lessons that we all get to have. And I ask now to learn them in other ways. I'm like, hey, I would love to learn the lesson under grace and ease. Let me read about it. But there is something about embodiment, because you will be able to help somebody when they're hurting, and you'll be able to say, I've been there, but choose joy. I've been there, but hey, let's do this dance. I've been there, but hey, here's this activity. And maybe what you're creating right now is coming right out of this. You're feeling this anger. You're feeling this frustration. You're feeling this betrayal. You're feeling this resentment. And you do what? And record that and share that. Because there are so many people right now that are feeling that. And so maybe this is the gift of the birth of your creation. Maybe you don't need the production team. Maybe you have everything you need right now. And this situation is reminding you that you don't have to wait to create, that you're given an opportunity to overcome it in real time and help other people that are hurting, because you are aware of how the game of life works and you know more than others, and therefore you have a responsibility to help others. And I love that you look like an angel right now. Right? Even the light is shining on you right now in this moment, saying, remember, remember, remember what your heart is telling you, and lead with it. And I think one of the biggest opportunities, I'll call it, over challenge, is that things rise up in our life and we get to decide what we'll do with it. Will this take me out? Will I be like them? Will I forget what I've thought? Will I react, or will I stay conscious? Will I stay awake inside of the dream and understand that no matter what the illusions look like, my thoughts and my feelings can and will change that? And therefore, I stay conscious, and therefore, I am thinking these thoughts. Even if you have to write it down, I am choosing these thoughts. I am choosing to put myself in this feeling. I'm choosing to do these things when I feel blank, when I feel anger, when I feel this, when I feel sadness, when I feel scared. I'm choosing to calibrate myself. I'm choosing to double down on my faith. I'm choosing prayer. And if you can't... And if you are struggling in the moment, then you're choosing to ask for help, and that's okay too. There have been many times in my life where I'm like, whew, I know there's a way, but right now I am feeling scared, or I don't know. Yes. And can you help pray for me? And the answer is yes, we will all pray for you. And we see it as good, and we see it as whole, and we see it as beautiful, and we see it as an amazing opportunity for you to shine and share your gifts with this world, because that is why you are actually here, right? And that is the importance for all of us, is how can I be the best me today, right? And what situation is holding me back, and what story is holding me back, and what challenge is actually an opportunity for me to step up and to shine and to practice what I know. right? It's like the best anything athlete must actually go do it, right? You want to win the Olympic, you got to know how to get down that mountain. And sometimes we get mountains, so we know how to get down them. And that's what these things are. And when we can reframe it as that, now we have our power back. You are no longer a victim to the circumstances. Thank you for this opportunity to overcome this. Thank you for being with me every step of the way. Thank you for showing me a way when I do not know. Thank you for keeping my heart in the light. Thank you for guiding me. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for remembering me that the power is within me. Thank you. And it is that gratitude and that commitment and that focus that you will be out of this faster than you even know it, and it will come in a way that leaves no doubt that God is real and is with you at all times. And I believe that wholeheartedly. So yes, you have got this. And it is brave. And it is brave of you, and it is courageous of you to take on these challenges. But it is only in that we can help more, right? And
so when you always have a negative, like when you think negative or when you like talk negative, what you do, like you stop it, like you never talk negative at all?
I catch myself do I talk negative? Of course, I'm human. Yeah, but I stop myself, because where is that going to get me? There is a map of how this game works. Like attracts like, right? The vibration is very real. So sure, you can talk negative, you can get mad, but what are you going to attract in your life, right? This is why when I was telling you guys I went to dinner, like I was mad. I had reason to be mad, but my world was showing me how my reality was being affected. So who do I need to be? How do I need to overcome? What do I have to learn from this? How quick can I rebound, right? And trusting too that even in these moments that there will be some resolution. Again, this is like my God, look at the world. I could get mad about so many things happening right now. But from that place, I cannot serve. So what good is it? What good is it?
Okay.
So yes, I have created amazing things from anger. I do not think it's the best emotion to create from, but I have been so angry that I have said enough, or I'm done, or this is a change. But then you must get back in your heart, or you will attract more of the same. If I'm mad, you don't even want me in a car. I'm not kidding. The car will just stop working. Like we are electrical beings, right? Our thoughts, how we're feeling, this is very real. And when you understand that this is real, you just want to stay conscious, right? So when I'm angry, it's like, let me pray. God, I don't want to feel like this. This is how I'm feeling. Another thing, how can you get it out of you? Because it's not just a thought, it's getting in your body, right? Go to the gym, go out in nature, go for a run, right? I've been times like when my brother passed, you think I wasn't going to be angry? I remember running in the ocean and screaming, which was actually really crazy, guys, because 3 whales came to me, which was so beautiful. Side note, like animals are just so, but yes, we have to get this stuff out of us. I'm not saying don't feel it. Don't suppress it, because that's disease, right? I'm not saying you can't call this guy and be like, hey, what you did was really wrong. And, I don't accept this. And I think it's important to have boundaries. I don't think you have to verbally tell him. I believe that consciousness is all connected, and you can tell his consciousness, this is not okay. I'm not okay with this. I'm going to put this aside because I can't be who the Creator is calling me to be right now, but this is not okay. And it's very important to distinguish those boundaries, because you don't, listen, like if you accept that, then that shows up in everything. There's people, I have friends, I was one of them at one time, and they're like, I'm in this bad relationship. And I'm like, you realize it's not just that relationship. You're saying that's okay in every area of your life. It's your emotional baseline. It's what you say is okay. We all have them, right? We all have a certain amount of money in our bank account. If it goes under, we're like, whoa, right? We all have a certain thing that like we can take so much and then we won't take that. So it's very important to be like, this is what's okay and this is not okay. And from that place, it cannot consume you, because we have greater work here on earth to do. And that's the thing. So the question is not, does it bother me? Am I angry? Am I negative? For how long will this distract me from the real reason my soul came to earth? And that's the difference. And having the discernment and having the knowingness so that you can move forward. I hope that helps. I have full faith in you.
Thank you so much.
Of course. Brent.
Hey, I just wanted to say thank you for sharing your energy here with us today.
Of course.
I feel like it really helps to kind of put things in context. And something I was just thinking about right now while you two were speaking is it's really like how long are you going to stay stuck in that emotion, you know? Like, and I'm trying to be a little bit more aware of that in my own life, just because when you stay stuck in a certain type of energy, you're feeding it, you know, and you want to feed that positive energy over the negative. Doesn't mean that you have to be in denial about it, but just focus on how you're which energy you're going to feed.
I thank you for bringing that. Absolutely. Everything in life, guys, our body is a pharmacy. Our body is this pharmacy, and every thought that you have is producing a chemical in your body. I promise you, I almost killed myself. That was me. That was me not knowing how to handle my emotions and my thoughts and my feelings and my focus and the power that we all have. So every single one of us is an addict. Newsflash, all of us are addicts because your body is addicted to a chemical. The question is, are you addicted to joy or are you addicted to pain and suffering? And there were times in my life that I was addicted to a life I didn't even want to live. And we all have technology, so I think you know what I'm talking about. You know, when you're like, I'm not going on social media anymore, and then your arm's like this, and you're like, what are you doing? It wants a chemical, right? It wants a chemical. We get into these patterns. This is science. You can look at the neuroscience behind this. And so if we stay in something too long, that becomes our state of being. And it gets harder and harder and harder to get out. You can do it, right? I've done it. But when you understand the science behind that too, of like, do I really? And guess what? Those thoughts, and this is why I believe in so many times they say, treat others how you'd like to be treated. Love others. Think nice about. Why? Because that thought, although you think it's for them, that negative thought is making your body sick. That is hurting you in real time. That negativity, you guys ever get stressed out or get angry at somebody? How do you feel? Horrible, because you're poisoning yourself. And so again, I'm not saying, God, I get angry too, but it's just I have to understand, okay, this is not serving me. I can't be me. I must let this go, right? I ask God, like, karmic is real, right? God will take care of them. You do it. You teach them the lessons. I have bigger things to do. I want to help people that want to be helped. I don't know how to help this person. I don't know how to make them see that this is wrong. You take care of that. You got me? Good. Awesome. I'm going to go back to doing my thing, why I came here, right? And that's important. And so I appreciate that our body can create heaven's pharmacy. 100%. It's a state of mind. And so we get to practice that. We get to experience that. And when we do, my God, like as Lisa was saying, the synchronicities, the blessings, the miracles, get back into that as fast as we can, right? As fast as we can so we can continue on the path that we're meant to live. Kaylee, I'm coming to you. I think she's with us. I just while I'm waiting for Jaden. Yes, I think I'm gonna post these maybe on YouTube just to help. And actually, I should ask everybody at the beginning of the call if you guys are comfortable. And if you guys are not comfortable, I will not post this one. But maybe in the future I will. So, and I'll ask if somebody wants to share. But that will be up to Lisa. So you can think about it. You don't have to tell me now. You can message me and other people because if we can help other people, amazing. Because not everyone can join, or even just in the Telegram or even in the Instagram channel. Okay, Kaylee, come join us when you're ready. But I want to go back to a couple more things while we're still here together. So we kind of talked about these things in real time. So thank you for these questions and thank you for being involved.
Can I see?
Oh, yes. Hi.
Okay, I wanted to say you're such an amazing person and you always motivating. Sorry for my English because
your English is great.
Native language, and I'm from Lithuania. So if you know, I think so, Lithuania, you know? Do you know the thing? Oh my god,
No.
sorry, I'm so nervous and my
Hey,
hands
save your
shaking.
sorries. No, you're alive. It's great. Hey, thank you for that. I really believe that we are reflections of each other, and you only see that because that's what you see in yourself. So please know that. And thank you for sharing.
Thank you. You're such an amazing person, and
so are you guys. We are all here to help and love one another and serve one another and believe in one another. And I really believe that. In our own beautiful way. It's in our own beautiful way that we get to do that. That's what it's all about. Kaylee, hi.
Hi. Sorry, I don't want this to derail too much, but it's kind of goes back. Everything you're saying is so amazing, and I think we could all be on a call like this every morning. How wonderful would that be? But we can do it ourselves, right? Which is so beautiful. And but one of my question is kind of the gap between believing, inherent everything you're saying. I'm like, yes, it's, you can feel it as a truth, right? And inside of you, they're almost like universal laws. But the gap between when you're okay, for example, I have no money and I know I need to get to this place where I do, and I just have to have faith, right? Or whatever. In Lisa's story that she was kind of discussing. But what about the nervous system, right? Where do you feel like that plays a role in just believing and then it actually panning out, being every day waking up, I have faith, God, I know you got me, I know I'm going to be taken care of, whatever I believe I can achieve, kind of having the belief and then it actually coming to the 3D. Is there anything you can say about that?
That is
intermediary.
Thank you for asking. I think that is a phenomenal question, and it's very important. And there is this gap, right? There is this really big gap of I believe, right? And then if you're been I believe, or I'll give you a totally different example. I had this argument with my boyfriend. I'm I forgive you. And then he tried to touch me, and unconsciously my body was no. That's the nervous system, right? That's the nervous system saying I actually don't feel safe right now. I actually don't. And that is so important. And there is this, so one thing that helped me a lot, I'm just going to say a couple things, is when we talk about a belief too, remember a belief is just something that we've repetitively told ourselves. That is all. It's just a thought that you've said over and over again that now you believe it. And that's why we can change beliefs at any time. But there is this gap in so many things. And in saying, I believe I'm going to be okay, but your body being I don't actually feel safe right now. And how can we actually make ourselves feel safe? And this is where I think meditation is a vital tool and has been really vital for me because, again, you can say, I believe and I'm this, but then what happens is we're looking out. Our eyes are out. We're in this outside world and it doesn't look like we're okay. And the checks are there and we have bills or this. And I can tell you that probably the biggest example that I can give you guys in real time about this for me is when, if you guys know this, I had an accident to my face. I woke up from a surgery. I looked like a totally different person. I lost my mind. I wore a hat for 18 months. I was not okay. And everything in the outside world was triggering me. And even though I was trying to believe that some way, somehow I would be okay, my body was shutting down all the time. I couldn't sleep. I was just not okay because it was so much stress on my body that my body could not handle it. And this is when I learned to meditate. Why meditate? Because you have to disconnect from the reality that is triggering you. You have to disconnect from the 3D reality and you have to start to create something within, right? As within, so without. We talk about being conscious of our thoughts and choosing new thoughts. How do you even know what you're thinking if you never sit with yourself? How do you even know what's running through your mind when all you do is move from call to business meeting to friends to social media? You don't even know what's going on inside of your own mind. And so a lot of people will tell me, oh, well, I can't meditate. My thoughts are going crazy. That's the whole point. Meditation means to become familiar with. How are you? Not how did you put yourself together today? How are you inside? What is your body telling you, right? The body is the subconscious mind. And so really, it's about retraining. We talked about chemicals earlier. It's about retraining your nervous system that I am okay, That even though I have these bills, and even though I have these, like for me, it was this trauma. And it wasn't just the fact that I looked different. It was the fact that I felt traumatized. It was the fact that I felt violated. It was all of these other things that I was dealing with. And so even though I did not leave the house, but even though I was trying, my body was not okay. And meditation was huge because, again, our imagination is so powerful. And depending on what mystics you look at or books, I really like Neville Goddard. Neville Goddard says imagination is God. Is that true? I don't know. Makes sense to me, right? Your ability to imagine, your faculty, we are made in the image, right? So how can we use that? How can we disconnect? How can we start feeling what peace feels like? Right? How can we start feeling what calm feels like? And if you're doing this in your house, you're like, I don't feel it, get into nature, right? The earth's frequency is the same frequency as our heart when we're in coherence. What does that mean? It means when we're not in survival. That's why if you've ever gone out in nature or you've watched a sunset and this feeling, it's because there's a dominant frequency of the earth that is entraining your own heart to relax. And so training your nervous system to start to feel calm, step one, right? How can I just feel peace in this moment? Because if I can think my way into belief, that's part of it, but I have to feel it, right? Remember, the formula is I'm thinking and I'm feeling, right? I can't just think it, I have to feel it. Thought alone is not enough, right? The thought is the electrical charge, the feeling is the magnetic, right? That's what's creating our state of being. So I'm thinking, okay, I believe that there is a way out. But now part of faith is I have to actually feel that. And how can I practice feeling that? And so that's a lot of sitting still. When I was talking before, I don't know if I finished this thought about a miracle list. This has helped me so many times. When I think about times in my life where I was not okay, but then I somehow became okay. And it gives your brain, you're showing your brain, you're priming your mind that this has happened before. You're priming your mind for a possibility. You're showing that, okay, it might be different, but there were times when I didn't know how, and then I was, which shows me that it is possible. So now I have more on my side, right? I'm trying to show my mind that this is a possibility, that there have been times in my life where you didn't believe and then it happened. So now I have a greater understanding of belief. It's like you go to the gym and you work out, and over time you build a muscle. And your brain and your belief system is this muscle. And as Kaylee was asking and also bringing up and saying, we have to get our body on board. And so sitting still, feeling that, using your imagination. Why do we want to do this? I'm sure you guys know this, but let me reiterate. Your brain, your body does not know the difference between a thought that you're thinking and real life. I'll give you the most inappropriate example. If you like somebody, boy or girl, and you start thinking about them, and they're not even around you, you will start having changes in your body, and it's not real. Does everyone understand what I'm talking about? Right? Your body will change. A more appropriate one is like a lemon. And you could think about a lemon, your mouth will salivate. Your body responds. And so you start teaching your body what it feels like to be safe, what it feels like to believe. Well, let me imagine myself. Let me imagine that, I'm good. I'm getting myself into a state of peace. Let me imagine how I'm okay. Let me imagine that I have more than I need. Let me use my memory as an example where this has already happened. Where have you felt peace before? Where have you felt joy before? Where have you felt calm before? But another thing that science shows us is the more that you imagine that, you start creating new neural networks in your brain that shows your brain like it's already happened. So think about it like this. You guys ever use Google Maps? And then it's like, oh, here's the, you want to type in a new place and it shows you all the places you've been before because it remembers. That's your mind. Your mind is like, wait, actually, we were rehearsing this. I know how to get there because you started to install the neurological networks in your brain. You've started to give your body a taste of what it feels like. And now your brain and body are working with your belief that you're consciously choosing to help you get there. And so working on your nervous system is so huge, right? I remember, I'll give you another example, different, but I remember I was at a Mind Valley event 2 summers ago. Well, not last year, the year, but about a year and a half ago. And I was I had a great event. I finished and I came home and I was praying and I was like, God, please, I want to serve more. Please, I really want to get more out in the world. And I had this thought, and a lot of times the way that I get messages is just a random thought out of nowhere. And the thought was, do you feel safe to be seen? And I was like, oh, that's really interesting, because I wore a hat for 18 months. I didn't want anybody to see me. My nervous system was like this all the time. So again, this was a pretty fast thing, but I'll just be super honest. I took a shower. I was in the shower, I was letting the water run over me. And I was saying, I feel safe to be seen and to be heard. And I really felt that. And that night I went to bed and I was doing it again. And I was using my imagination and just feeling, what does that feel like? I feel safe that I could be seen. I could help more people. And I'm not kidding you. The next day, I go to like the church in Estonia, which I have no idea what they're saying, but I just like being in rooms of people that believe. I like good energy. And then hours later, Elon Musk had shared my video. And I like to track, how do these things happen? And all I could think about is I intentionally was thinking, saying, feeling, practicing, deciding, consciously choosing this option. That's a big example, but my point is, to have the thought is great. When we were talking about embodiment, we also have to embody that. And that might be the example, or that might be, I need to embody, I realize that I've been in a state of stress. I need to embody this feeling of peace. I need to embody this feeling of calmness. I need to get out of this survival. So it's thinking that, it's feeling that, it's putting yourself in a state of that. I do this a lot through falling back in love with life. That's my thing, because if I'm in love with my life, I'm not fear anymore. I'm not stressed out anymore. My nervous system feels safe. I believe that God is love. I'm like, let me go meet you where you are. Let me go fall back in love. And when I say that, it's whatever brings you joy, right? For me, sometimes that's just this morning I woke up and I was like, to be honest, I was a little nervous. I was like, I hope people come. God, I hope I can help people today. And I felt a little nervous and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go down to the beach. And I was like, whatever it is perfect. Whatever, I have like a 12-page document of things, but this is perfect, right? Because this is real time. And so, but I even have to be like, whew, calm yourself down, right? And so, yes, so to go back to that, Kaylee, yes, it's like, and this happens a lot too in identities, I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I'm like, I know I'm not this version of me, but I'm not her anymore, but I'm in between. And it's like, what do I do here? Because nothing's really solidified, right? I'm like, I'm not her, but I'm not her. And I just have to keep moving in this direction of my dreams. I have to keep moving in the direction of, you know what? I'm still going to take action, right? If it's a financial thing, I'm still going to look for work. I'm still going to show up as my best. I'm still going to take every idea that comes to me, right? If God's saying, do this, I'm going to not have fear. I'm just going to go try that thing. And maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, but I'm going to keep trying, because I think part of showing the Creator that we have faith is taking blind action. It's like, I don't know, I'm just going to post this, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to audition for this, or I'm going to apply to this, whatever it is. It's still us taking action and working to solidify that reality, right? Neville Goddard says, if an imagination is held, I'm butchering it, it's if you hold the assumption will turn into fact, right? So you're assuming this reality. Joe Dispenza, there's so many people I could quote on this. They're all saying the same thing, right? I'm going to assume that this is my reality. I'm going to focus on this, right? My best example is when I was sick. Guys, like, I don't know how else to say it to you. When you have people tell you you're going to die, like, it's very scary. And you have a whole new level of like, I can either believe them, or I can go this way and pray to God that there is some way, somehow I stay alive. Especially, again, not that I'm recommending this, but I stopped all my medications so I could go to work, right? Because I knew I had to feel different. And I didn't feel different. I didn't take that decision and all my pain went away. I didn't take that decision and I stopped lactating because I had this brain tumor pressing against my pituitary. I didn't take this decision and I immediately felt good, right? I had fear come up. I had symptoms come up. I had all these things happen to me, but I kept choosing that reality, right? When they talk about there's infinite realities that you can live in, what chooses them? Your thinking, your feeling, your continual focus on that reality. So you just keep putting yourself there in all the ways, consciously through your thought, taking time to meditate and say, what's coming up? Wow, I have all of this fear. Okay, I recognize you fear, right? Like they say that if you say your fear out loud, 50% it disappears. I'm not huge on like talking about your fears out loud because I don't want to use the words to solidify them. I would not share them with other people because you don't want other people to believe them. But you can just sit there and be like, you know what, wow, I'm really feeling really scared about this. Okay, Caitlin, I'm going to acknowledge that you're scared about this. I get it. This is scary. But do you believe that you are loved? Do you believe that there is something bigger than you that loves you and has your back? I do. I really do. And so what should I do? And taking time to just get direction and asking your heart, and sometimes silence meditation is louder than action. Yes, Ashley, exactly. Sometimes just sitting there and saying like, guide me, right? What do I do right now, right? Being still. I love a good Joe Dispenza meditation, but you got to just be quiet sometime, right? Because if he's saying space, I'm like, okay, with space. I'm talking about consciously making a decision to connect with your heart, to connect with the Creator and say, I want you to know right here, right now, I'm creating space for you. I am open. And maybe it will come. And maybe you have to try again. And maybe you have to try again. And maybe you have to try again. But it will start to show up. It'll either show up in your reality and signs. You'll get a thought. You'll get a feeling. You'll see an image. But we have to actually make that time. Another practice I like that I've been doing like probably the last 6 months is I get out like good old pen. I'd use a purple pen, something with a purple pen for me, and paper. And I'm like, I'll even ask, like, I'm curious, like, what if this? What answers come to me? Is anything coming to me? And once I can write it down, right? Creating these pockets of stillness that you can actually get to your own thinking. You know, community is amazing, right? Teachers are incredible. But I'll give you something that, I don't know if you guys know Michael Beckwith, but Michael Beckwith is incredible. He's a good friend of mine. He runs something called Agape. And I remember when I, got to go to dinner with him. And it was just like me and him and my boyfriend at the time. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so cool. This is years ago. And I had all these questions I wanted to ask him because I really admire him. And I believe he's really connected. And I'm like, okay, Michael, all right. Da, 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 da. And I'm asking these questions. What do you think about this? What do you think about this? What do you think about this? And he was silent. And he looks at me and he says, Caitlin, do you know what the worst vice is? And I said, no. And he goes, it's advice, because only your soul knows the truth. Only your soul knows the answer. And so I can come on here and my intention is to literally half the time I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm like, God, please speak through me. But at the end of the day, you must have discernment. You must go back and reflect and say, what resonates with me? What doesn't? And always go back to asking your heart, is this best for me? Guide me, show me, right? And pay attention. And I would say this, there's been many times in my life where God has given me a sign, a very clear sign, right? But I don't have the courage to take it. And that's what I would say is so important, is that I do not doubt that the Creator will give you an answer. I do not doubt that the Creator will open the door. But it's, do you have enough faith in the moment and enough courage to actually walk through it, to actually say yes, to actually answer the call? And listen, I've learned if you don't do it the first time, more opportunities can come. But that is the big thing too, is even in your practice, when you're sitting still and when God shows you something, practice taking it. Practice saying, okay, and then I'm going to take that and I'm going to follow it and I'm going to trust it, right? And the more that we can take time to do these practices, to be still, to set it right, Joe says, to settle yourself down in the present moment, right? There's, Jesus talks about how we would go up on the mountain and be alone. All of these teachers. Neville says a state akin to sleep, right? You're calming yourself. You're disconnecting from this reality. Just being alive in 2026 is intense. Like, literally, there is so much going on. Even if I'm like, I'm not going to focus on anything, I'll go to the gym and it's like the news is on and people are talking about it and I'm like, right? There is so much that is attacking our nervous system and our attention. Why? Because if you are like this, if you can't hold a thought, how can you create your reality? If you're in stress, you're not a creator, you're reacting to everything. If you are so addicted to dopamine and you scroll, how can you hold an attention long enough for it to harden into fact and become your reality? So every single one of us should be practicing this. I need to sit still with myself long enough that I can see that vision, that I can feel that vision. And here's another thing I want to say, because a lot of times you might not know what the answer is. So don't always get caught up in the vision. You might not know what it is, but you know how you want to feel. And you know that you felt that. All of us have felt safe before, right? Maybe it was your grandpa giving you a big hug and you just felt safe in that moment. Or maybe there was something scary and somebody held you. I don't know, but we all know what safety feels like. We all know what joy feels like. And I think the most important thing that we can do is continuously feel those emotions, that they become how we wake up and how we go to sleep. And when life happens, we're able to course correct. We're able to settle ourselves down. We're able, when the whole world is reacting, we can pause. But that takes practice. And I can tell you, when I was like this, right? And I was so shooken up from life, and I had, like, if you would have told me then that I would even be on a call like this, I couldn't get off my parents' floor from crying. I didn't want to die, but the only thought I had was to kill myself, right? And that is real. That is so real. And my body was addicted to this state because of all of this trauma that I went through, right? I didn't think I created it, but it was happening to me. And that's where meditation for me became a lifeline, because the world was too much. The situation was too big that I had to disconnect. And listen, if you look at what Jesus says, the kingdom of heaven is within, right? We get to go within, disconnect, and create. And if we do a good enough job, which every time we do it is a good job, then something in our life when we open our eyes changes, right? And the intention should be that I am going to sit still today because my intention is to connect with the Creator, right? I say God, but you can call it source, the divine energy, universe, whatever you want to call it. We're all naming the same thing, right? So my intention is to be still, is to be one, right? Me and my Father are one, but He is greater than I. We are all this energy. We are all it. So we sit still. We settle ourselves down. We remember what it feels like to be our nature. And this is what I want you to remember, because it's who you actually are. You are that love. You are that peace. You are that. That is who you are. So you're taking time to remember your true essence and connect with it with the intention that you can hold that throughout the day. So guys, I'm such a talker. I hope that helped on the nervous system question. I just want to go through these really quick. Faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. So those sets of the word of God connect to the scripture are stories to carry the grace and wisdom to know the steps for healing. James 1:15, created to the positive circle, from good thought to good feelings to good works to good life. Beautiful. Creating the positive chemicals of heaven in the body to create from love and peace. I love that. That's beautiful. Connecting to the light, sense and see, feel the light and imagine it filling you up. Amazing. I love that. There's so many amazing practices that you can just visualize this and imagine this coming into you. Sowing and reaping. Every word we speak or thought we have is a seed. Yes, that we reap the like kind of that seed later. Yes. And I love this. Again, I don't know why I'm all about the scripture today, but it's just coming to me. Jesus says you will know them by their fruits. Look at their life, right? That is a reflection of their internal state of what they're thinking, they're feeling. And have discernment, right? I don't have it all figured out, but I'm doing my best, and I really practice these things. I genuinely practice these things, right? And I think my life is a reflection of that, and I would love to show that more, but have discernment in all things, in all people, and knowing that truly the answers are within you, right? This is the treasure chest, the kingdom of heaven. But we are so used to looking out, and it helps, right? We're all walking each other home, right? My favorite quote is, God whispers to us differently, hoping that we tell each other, right? So there are messages that we get, right? Lisa was talking about this message that she's getting to be childlike and to play. I don't think that's just for her, guys. I think that is a message that God is giving her to share with others. We all have these. Nervousness is the other side of excitement. Yes, right? Science shows that actually it's the same exact chemical that's produced. And so if you just start saying, I'm excited, the only thing different is the story around it. Think about that. Same chemical, it's the way that you frame it. You could either be super nervous or super excited. And sometimes silence meditation is louder than action. Yes, at times I've had the greatest breakthroughs when I sat in silence. Yes, Ashley has shared so many stories with us of just unbelievable moments where it's like, I need this money now. I'm going to drop to my knees and pray and be still and believe, and out of nowhere. And that's another thing to mention. Like I was talking about this and thinking about this the other day about Moses, right? Moses and the Red Sea. This is just a story for life, guys, right? The Red Sea is all of our impossible situations. It's the impossible situation of, will I have the money? It's the impossible situation of, will I find love? Or will I heal? Or will I this? Right? And what does he say? He raises his staff. You lift your consciousness, right? You get beyond the problem. You lift your consciousness up so that it exists in a reality that you are now connecting to. But think about that story. Moses was at the sea. It was right there. The army was right behind him, right? That's as bad as it gets in this situation. He's walking into the water. And a lot of times faith has to be held. And it looks like it's too late, but that's usually when it happens. And that's usually when people give up. So I want you to think about, okay, I know that I need to practice my nervous system. I know that I need to hold this new vision. I'm creating this new life, and I'm going to keep holding this. And I know that it's going to look like this. I know how the game works. Just imagine like you're playing Monopoly. You know how it works. Just go to jail. You're going to get out after 3 rolls, right? But you got to wait for a little bit. You know the rules of the game. And when you understand that life is a game and you start understanding these rules, then you can maintain your faith. You can settle yourself down and you can say, I know that I'm going to have to hold this. God, please come on, sooner than later, right? I always ask, show me under grace and ease, make it fast, put me in all, right? I don't want the long route, but sometimes that's the way that it is. But I'm still going to hold my faith. And I'm not saying I'm perfect, and I'm not saying I don't waver, and I'm not saying I don't get scared, and I'm not saying all these things, but I am saying that I understand that if I keep believing, that some way, somehow, something will show up. And it might not be what I imagined. It's usually never what I thought. And it might not be the way that I wanted. It's usually not what I wanted. But it somehow works out. Yes, the answers are all within. We have to learn to listen to God. Absolutely. Right? I don't know about you guys. I'm not saying AI is bad. I'm actually using it for a tool to help people. But if you keep outsourcing your thinking, then what? Then what? Right? Right? We're so used to, I'm going to read this or do that, and then they're not bad, but you can't go to Claude or ChatGPT for everything, right? And I think that's part of this spiritual warfare is like, you can go online and you can ask the robot. Why don't you ask actual intelligence that is inside of you? But that means you got to sit still, and that means you got to be with yourself, and that means you got to break the chemical addiction to whatever you got going on. And that is a little bit more work, but it is worth it because now you can move through life with messages, with clarity, with intuition, right? To go back to the year of the horse, which I don't even know about this, but I was reading about it and I'm like, this is cool. And if this is real, right? There's 4,000 years they've been talking about this stuff, and there is this energy that is with us and is guiding us this year, then I hope we all have the courage. That's my intention, is that we take time to be still, is that we take time to trust our intuition. I don't know about you guys. I can think of so many times where I was like, this is a bad idea, and then I did. I'm like, I knew it, right? Why do we do that? We have to learn to trust ourselves. We have to learn to trust the voice, to trust our heart, and have discernment, right? I want to say something else. If you have so much going on in the outside world, which thoughts are yours? As much as I love going to an event and they're speakers and I love them and they're friends and they're this, at the end of the day, I'm like, what do I believe though? Because that's their belief and that's their belief. You have to have discernment, right? You scroll through Instagram and everybody's an expert. And I'm not saying they're wrong, but what is your truth? What is a belief that you want to take on versus somebody else's? And so Journaling helps too, absolutely. Getting yourself, journaling, I highly recommend pen and paper, right? There's so much science behind actually putting a pen to paper and that ability and how it actually activates our imagination even more. I love to journal as if it's done, right? I love to take myself to the end scene and write about it. Why? I'm priming my mind. I'm emotionally evoking myself. I'm feeling it in real time. And that's creation. Okay, I know we've been going for a long time, but I just want to see if there's any other questions or anything I can do to help before we jump out. I hope that this is helpful. I hope that this has moved you in some way. I hope that you are inspired. I believe more than anything that you can create whatever it is you are being called to create. But you can't take the old with you. You can't take the stories with you. You can't take the negative emotions with you. You can't take the nervous system that is in stress, right? These are things that we have to work on. We have to get clear on what's holding me back. What is the default state that I'm in? And I'm not saying it's your fault. There are times in my life where grief was overwhelming, right? Where anxiety was unbearable, where depression, I could not get out of bed, right? And I have empathy. I have been there. But it is your responsibility in that time to do this, to join a call, to listen to a positive song, right? To create a vision for your future, right? To do something that could at least help you fall back in love with life, to find joy in the moment, right? I want us to start really moving in life because it's our intuition, not because it's the program, not because somebody's saying you got to work harder, you got to hustle more. No, because the Creator is calling you to bring your light to this world. That is how we should be moving. It is, I can't deal with this because God is calling me to bring something, and every single one of you is being called to bring something. Truly, I cannot say this enough. Every single one of us is so special, and we are so different. And it's not, oh, well, Kate's got that, or oh, Lisa's got that, or Kaylee's got that backed up. No, we need your light. That is how darkness disappears. Every light turns on, but it is, you got to know what your mission is. You got to know what your assignment is. How do you know that? What brings you joy? When you are blank, you are in love with life. Do more of that and let God lead you in that way. Okay, I think we have a question. Carl.
Hi, Caitlin.
Hi.
Thank you. You're absolutely putting wonderful energy out here. I feel like warmth within me, like this, like really working. The energy is moving. So I am having a situation. I'm currently going through a heartbreak, actually. I will just share the story like a little bit. So we actually broke up in November already. But the situation is we were both going to university, and she went to study abroad, and she found something better, that she doesn't want a relationship right now. And I accept that. But I don't want to say it's a mistake, but something I did. I kept the hope inside me that when she comes back, we may work something out again. But now, like a few days ago, we met for the first time, and this hope inside me had to die because I got the certainty that she has moved on. She doesn't want a relationship currently. So wonderful call that we have had. I have just like a little question, like how to let my heart be the guide, how to follow my heart, how to ask my heart if something is right, if it's broken right now.
You have to love yourself. All of that love that you would give, you have to turn it in. You have to turn it in, Carl. You have to love yourself so good. And what does that mean? That means you got to wake up in the morning and you got to sit with yourself and be like, Carl, I love you. What do you love about yourself, Carl? I love this about you, Carl. I love this. I love that you love so much. And I love that you did believe. And you know what? I love that you have hope. I love that about you. And it's okay. You can keep that hope. And I love this. And I love this. And I love this. And then you got to ask yourself, Carl, how can I bring myself joy today? What can I do to love myself today? Right? I remember going through a really bad breakup, and the therapist was like, do you love yourself? And I was like, yeah. And she said, how? And she never gave me an answer, but I thought about, how do I love myself? Do I do the things that I feel like doing? Do I show up for myself? Right? I remember a couple months ago, I saw my friend here. I was walking down and he's like, how's your day? And I was like, I just took the most amazing shower. I just told every part of myself I loved it. And I was telling him about this, and he was looking at me like I was crazy. But it's that. It's like, this might sound whatever, but I'm going to tell you this because this helped me. Like, it's looking at you. This is your body. Love it. I love you. Every single cell is alive. And you have to express love, especially when you're hurting. And so all of that love that we so freely give away to people, to partners, to everything, you must turn that in and take some time to really do that. To be like, and I remember, like, if you were like, well, what do you like? I'd be like, I don't know. Like, my identity was that relationship. I didn't know what I liked. But you got to start asking yourself, like, okay, what can I do? What would make Carl happy? What did you like to do when you were a kid? Get a coloring book, Carl. Like, go get some roller skates. Go bowling. Go do these things. You've got to fall back in love with your life as you, right? Not as you with somebody else. And take time to love yourself in all of the ways that you can. All of them, right? And do not even think about getting in another relationship until you love yourself so much. Because who you will attract next is going to be unbelievable, because you will have lifted yourself to such a high frequency. You will have loved yourself back into life that the next woman that shows up is going to be like, because she will match the new you. And so many times we get into a new relationship and we're broken. What do you think you're going to attract? It's still resonance. It's still a frequency. And you know what? I have been cheated on. I've been broken up with. I've been like, what is wrong with me? Don't do that. Nothing is wrong with you. You're amazing. And if somebody can't see that, or it's not a fit for them right now in their life, that's okay. We are all on our own journey. But it is your responsibility to do everything in your power, like your life depends on it. How can I love myself today? Right? Because if you were dating this girl, you'd be thinking about, how could I take her out for Valentine's Day? What could I do? All your love would be going there. So I want you to turn it in and love yourself back into life. Make a list. Think of the things that could bring you joy and do all of them. One after another, and check it. Do I like that still? No, but that was fun. I'll go do that again. And in this conscious decision to love yourself and fall back in love with life, I'm telling you, it will happen probably faster than you know it. And the people, the friends, the new relationship, everything that shows up is going to be so much better. And I look back at my life now and I'm like, wow, what a lesson I learned. And I'm grateful, because now I know that no matter what happens, I can love myself through anything. And that is one of the most valuable gifts that we can learn. And the fact that you're learning it now, I know it hurts, but it is a blessing. It is a blessing in disguise. So anything and everything that you can do to love yourself, right? Love heals everything. You don't need it from anyone else. You give it to yourself. And it will work. And you report back, okay?
Thank you so much. I'm here for the first time, and I actually found you through the School of Mentors, School of Hard Knocks.
Yeah!
Amazing community.
I'm so happy you did. I have to leave soon, guys, but I just want to look really quick. When I believe in something, but then I start doubting, what can I do to remove the doubt and give the belief more strength? Keep doubling down on it, right? Or when I was saying, go back to your miracle list. Make a miracle list. We have all been in a situation, all of us, and it worked out. I remember when I was really not okay, my mom hung miracles everywhere, right? When I had this surgery, I couldn't see the mirror. I could only see miracles everywhere. Why? I didn't know my mom was. She was priming my mind for a possibility. So hang things, right? I have vision boards in my house. I have quotes in my house. You can do anything. You must hold the faith and feel it. I love you. You got that. I wrote that to me, right? Right? Like, we leave clues for ourselves. Hang them. Hold the faith. Keep believing. You can do this. God's got your back. Remember this, you did it. Hold the faith, right? I hang these things all over my, because it's not like you just go through it. It's like, okay, I've held my faith through that. Now I got a new thing. Now I got to believe in this. Now I got to hold the faith in this. We continue to evolve in life, and so do our dreams, and so do the challenges. So this is a practice that we get to continuously practice and develop. So take your attention off the doubt, right? I see you, get behind me. There's no room for that. God is greater, right? And stay in your heart, right? Doubt can creep in, fear creeps in when our vibration drops. So get yourself back up, get back in it. Have like, I'll put this in our Instagram chat. I have this thing I created. I call it a faith emergency plan, right? Like we all know what to do, God forbid, if these things happen, but nobody has anything if your faith drops. So it's called a faith emergency plan. It's things that you can do, certain songs that lift you up, that remind you of that energy, right? The idea is you have to get yourself back into the feeling that you believe, right? Because it's not just a thought, it's a feeling. It's a feeling of joy. It's a feeling of everything's going to be okay. It's a feeling of everything's going to work out. So I'll share that with you guys too, because you have to have a plan. If I start doubting, I'm not like, what do? I'm like, all right, go to. I got a plan to tackle that doubt. And so we should all create that. And we can talk about that more next week too. I know somebody asked how I'm going to do these. I'm doing these weeklies, Tuesday at 11. That is the intention. Might have to move some days, but please come. Do you believe anything can be healed? 100%. 100%. I have so many friends. It's kind of crazy because I'll meet people and I'm like, stage 4 cancer, no problem. Like I have like 10 people you could call right now. I believe everything can heal, but it does not matter if I believe, it matters if you believe, because life is reflecting your belief system. So, sometimes it helps when you can, Joe Dispenza, his community, there are so many testimonials of people healing if you can find someone close to you. But sometimes we're being called to be the example, right? Roger Bannister, nobody thought you could run a 4-minute mile, right? He had no role model to look to. He wasn't. And so you get to decide, is there somebody out there, or is God calling me to be the person? And then you get to decide if you want to take that on. But 100%, you cannot talk me out of it. I have seen too much. I just believe. So anything you can do to strengthen your own belief is so important. Went through the same thing, and it takes time, but on the other side of it, you find the higher side of it. Absolutely. And talk to God. Please post the replay. Okay. Fall in love with life. So powerful. It is like the number one hack I could say in all things, right? No matter what you're going through, it doesn't matter if it's a heartbreak or financial or illness, you're stuck in an emotion. You're stuck in an emotion that is negative. And so I know we had a little bit of a short ending there, but thank you guys so much for joining me in this coaching call. If you want to be a part of them, if you have questions, if you want to be in community in real time and have a live experience, then please sign up for my coaching calls. They are totally donation based, so whatever works for you is good for me. And if you're not in a time where you can donate, that's okay. Please still show up, because I know with the right tools, with the right mindset, with the right community, your life can change. Plus, the world needs your light. For more of this, please make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Remember, anything is possible when you believe in possibility. Love you guys.